Joe, they found him. Okay, they found him this afternoon. Okay, they just came to my house and talked to us. You're gonna tell them what we talked about, right? It's not the truth, Adriana.
All right, we are recording in progress with Sylvia Ray on Play It Forward, writer director. The film is The Middle. Sylvia, you were nominated by both Rebecca Loisel and Luisa Novo. Thank you so much for being on the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I love Becca and Louisa. Been working together for quite a bit.
Awesome, awesome. We're gonna be talking about The Middle today. A very well done project. And before we begin, please can you introduce synopsis of the film, and I will help. And then even prior to that, a little background about yourself, however you'd like to share.
Got it. Yeah, so my name is Sylvia Ray. I'm a writer, director, and editor. I'm from Barstow, California, and I'm currently living in Los Angeles, where I am making films. So basically, my short film is called The Middle. It's a coming of age drama set in Barstow, California. And it's about a girl who has to decide whether or not to tell the truth on her brother, which could be detrimental to his future. It's about loyalty versus like ride or die mentality, and just learning how to listen to your intuition, follow your gut, and do what's right.
That's awesome. It's something, that all of us learn through the process of maturation. And we either, take it on or don't. And it makes all the difference in what kind of lives we have. So it's really interesting that you grew up in Barstow. I don't know very much about it at all, just from, the film. You can see that there's some marginalized, people in the movie that feel a little bit disenfranchised, um, you know, sons and daughters of immigrants, potentially immigrants themselves. Um, and, as often is the case with people who, everybody, all youth can be wild, whether they're rich or poor or, wherever it might be, and rowdy. But there is a different kind of, I think, mentality where it feels like your opportunities are less than, and you're also, you may have your you may have a history of some sort of incarceration or whatever, misdemeanors or whatever. You're afraid of the police, and in a way that you've got some history with it, and not just like breaking up a party and telling everybody to go home kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of like where we start in the film in the middle, and you've got these two young characters which seem to care for another and have this like love kind of um begin to develop, and something goes horribly wrong, and then this character has to um uh, make a decision, and the film follows her struggle in making that decision and what she should do, what's the right thing to do. And the character actually that something goes horribly wrong with says to her, hey, you just know the right thing, and there's something in that that says, hey, it's innate, it's inside of you, it's within. So this kind of like struggle in this person and this disenfranchisement and this like alone and separateness, and then, trying to break through into a life that's secure, and like this character does, who want both characters seemingly, maybe even all the characters, where did this live? How was this your life that you said, hey, I want to take this part of my experience and make a movie out of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, as a creative, and when I think of stories and brainstorm ideas for writing, oftentimes I find myself back in Barstow. I was born and raised in Barstow, but I haven't been there, like living there, since I was 18 years old, although my family is still there and we visit quite often. I feel like I moved to the big city quite a while ago, but you can't, I always say, like, you can't you can take the girl out of Barstow, but you can't take the Barstow out of the girl, because I feel like it was so formative. And for me, I grew up mixed, so always kind of feeling in the middle of this and that, not feeling like I completely belonged in a certain group of people. And then on top of that, in Barstow, there are different types of groups of friends. Like, there's the friends that are off to college, the friends that are playing sports, and the friends that are not going to school and ditching and doing things like for fun. And I found myself in the middle of all of it. And so when writing this story, I really wanted to explore that. During a time in a girl's age that is like extremely important. I feel like when we're 15 years old, we don't know what's right or wrong. People are telling us to do certain things, and it might be completely against what your intuition is. And I just wanted to really fine tune and explore that moment in a girl's life, under the backdrop of drama and stakes and all the fun things we filmmakers do. But yeah, another aspect of the story is, growing up in a small town, there's always the thought of like, I'm gonna leave this place. I'm gonna go off and be successful. And these hopes are real, but they're also kind of like just talk. And, it's hard for people growing up in a small town to like actually believe it. And so I feel like my protagonist Joanna is like kind of floating in that space. Like, she doesn't have like a clear goal. She doesn't know if she's going to leave or stay. And she doesn't know what's right for her. And so she's getting all of these ideas from her crush, Tyler, who's played by Chris Ortega, who this is his first film, which I'm very excited to be a part of, and her brother and her friends, who she cares deeply for as well, who are telling her the complete opposite. Like, we stick together, we're ride or die, like family first, you know. And so, yeah, those are kind of the themes and ideas I wanted to explore, and also just like having love for someone who might make a decision completely opposite of you, and figuring out, like, is that person still a good person? You know, is that mean that they're completely wrong? I wanted to really explore the gray areas of relationships and people, in terms of like whether or not they are bad or good. So yeah, I think there's a lot of those themes coming to play in the middle.
Well, without a doubt, the cast did a great job, and that can only have been done with yourself as a director doing a great job. So, that was achieved, and I think the question is, yeah, there's a lot of content there that is all very related in that Venn diagram that you're exploring. Um, the sense of self and other, and a central kind of integrity. Why do you think at this point in your life you wanted to explore that more deeply?
I think where I'm at in my life, it's taken a lot of rewiring and work to really, I guess, have the courage to make choices towards my goal. And also, I'm always wanting to like improve as a human. And when I think about how far I've come, I think about those times back in my hometown where I didn't believe, you know, in certain things. And so I think it's important for me to explore the past and my roots and my relationships from the past that have like, bled into current and in the future. I think it's important for me to kind of be empathetic towards those people and myself. And so unpacking those feelings of uncertainty, those feelings of I don't know what's right or wrong, and really be empathetic towards that, because I think that we're all just doing our best. Even as an older, like as a woman, I'm still just doing my best, and I'm going to make mistakes. Um, I also wanted to explore like the idea that we can make a decision that could change our whole life, and sometimes we can't help that, and we can't like completely judge people for, maybe making like the wrong choice once. So these characters in the middle are all youth, and you're, as you said before, something tragic happens, and it's up to, I wanted to leave it up to the audience, like, it wasn't super malicious, like, so how do we judge these people? Are they just bad? Are they should they go to jail and be locked up forever? Like, I wanted to kind of just ask those questions, and feel like maybe there's a lot more to discuss rather than being black and white.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's awesome because, I think it's so important to the address those key things about our own development as artists, as filmmakers. Why we do this really isn't to break into Hollywood ultimately, but it is to grow, evolve, and to connect with the creative force. I think that probably most people would agree with that. That's, as a core statement of why they enjoy making art. That said, it puts it in the personal realm. It has to be in that personal realm. And the thing that you said about rewiring, I mean, rewiring the traumas or the confusions of our childhood, early adolescence, that's something all of us have to do, to create healthy pathways of, thought for ourselves as adults. And, that's why we reflect, and to be able to bring empathy in our reflections, to
Mhm.
allow that integration of the past and to put it to rest, and now being in the present and be the people that we are in the present without the um, past ruling us or forcing us to make choices or actions, or, that it informs our present health.
Right.
That's, I think something that most of like 90+% of the filmmakers that I interview are doing in one way or another with their films, with their art. Um, and then judging people. Like, how do we judge each other? We get on the phone. I've never met you before. Okay, I'm judging you. I see this, that, the other. You're judging me. You see that. And we're formulating these judgments. But what does it mean? Are they true? Are they not true? Do they help us understand one another? Do they not? Where is the empathy? Are we bringing empathy? Are we bringing compassion? Are we seeing just, hey, I'm human, you're human. We're trying to connect and have this communication, and and I've definitely found that the more harshly I judge others, the more harshly I'm judging myself ultimately.
Mhm. Yeah.
That you're limiting your own self. So here you are, you have these characters, they're limited by their experiences and their environment, and they're trying to be hard or this or that or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's limiting, right? It's limiting when you're trying to be that, because you think that's like the alpha kind of king of the jungle thing. And that world, well, maybe it is, but there's a bigger world outside of that small little jungle that you're living in. So to bring these realizations to ourselves, to others who are watching our movies, as younger people, as older people reflecting on them. I think judgment is such an important theme that we're talking about now, and how easy it is to judge a person. And so the takeaway from the film, for you, you've shot it, you edited it. Did you edit it?
No, I had a
No, you didn't.
fantastic editor, Patrick Lawrence, who took it on, and I'm now he can't get rid of me because I feel like it's been a great collaboration.
That's awesome. That's the best, is to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job. And, now that it's edited, what are your thoughts about the film? What is your emotional kind of takeaway from the movie as a viewer?
Well, I can tell you personally, prior to making this short film, I was doing a lot of director for hire work, going in and working on other people's scripts and bringing them to life. And for me, we talked about growth and we talked about, our self-worth. And for me, taking on this film felt a lot more vulnerable. Like it felt like I was being a little bit safe before in terms of my as a director, not taking on the full vulnerability of a story because this have has some sense of like the world in which I grew up with. It did feel a lot more like I was exposing myself like as an artist, as a human. And I knew that was something I wanted to do in order to expand on my storytelling and expand on myself as an artist. And so now that it's finished, I feel I just watched it the other day with people who helped make the film, and I found myself, after a while you can't see like, after editing and stuff, you're like not the emotion kind of goes away. But watching it recently, I found myself really feeling um emotions for the characters and their journey and what they're going through. I feel like overall very positive about the outcome, and I do feel like it's a nice representation of me and my world and my taste, I guess, as a filmmaker. And I feel overall really positive about it. Yeah.
Well, you should. You should. It was
Thank you.
really a great project. I want to know more about the meaning of the movie to you. When it's just when you play it and it's done, what do you like? Okay, yeah, that's what it's saying.
Yeah, I mean, what I want audiences to be left with is for them to really think about what it is that they would do personally. Because Joanna, our protagonist, is left with um, whether or not she's going to tell the cops on her brother. And so when I was asking collaborators prior to making the film, I would get really wildly different answers. People would say, "Oh yeah, I tell the cops right away," like no doubt about it. And there are others that be like, "Oh, I would lie all day for my brother, all day long." And so just that fact alone, that people are left with totally opposite ideas of what they would do, I hope that the film leaves people with that thought, like, maybe we should listen to each other more. Maybe we're not 100% right. Maybe we should find the middle ground in things, just in general in life. And for me, that's the core of the movie is like um, just finding that middle ground.
Middle ground between two extremes.
Yeah,
There's even a middle ground in those, right? Options. There's a third option, right?
right,
That can be possible. And it's, how do you keep your integrity, your commitment to both the truth and your love for your brother, or fellow human. You can honor
yeah,
both. There's a way there to do both. It doesn't have to be an either or situation.
right.
um yeah, how do you think we do that? How do you think we come to the middle?
If I have the answers, like, well, I don't know. I think it's a lot of listening,
Yeah,
listening and empathy, like we talked about. I think that those are really key things in order for that to happen. But I know it's not easy. Um, but it's in the work that, as long as we make the effort to make that happen, I think that's what counts. It's like with marriage, it's like it takes work
yeah,
and communication. So yeah.
I think those are the building blocks for sure. Can't get
Mhm.
around that. Since making the movie, how have you been changed personally?
That's a good question. I feel really proud of myself as a filmmaker in terms of like pushing my craft, and I do feel like I have um, expanded as a filmmaker, and I want to continue to do that in future work. I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to just do the minimum, the you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The least or whatever.
Yep.
I wanna keep growing. And I feel like with the middle, originally it was adapted from a feature film. So it started off as a feature film script that I was writing just to explore the ideas I had as an exercise of just getting better as a writer while I continued to work as a director and an editor. And after a while, like I felt the need to really, um, you know, be vulnerable in my art and share my stories. And that's when I adapted the feature into this short. And so after doing the short film, after completing it, mm, I feel what has changed is like I'm that much more confident moving into directing a feature film. So I would say that that's one of the big changes is I'm like that much more ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And I think, what I'm hearing is you're that much more ready to do risk vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Re-
awesome.
Be able to like take big strides, take big swings, and get used to doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. Sylvia Ray, writer, director of the film is The Middle. Thank you for being on Play It Forward. Till next time. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
You're welcome.